We are
It's
live.
simple. It's simple.
Yo, oh shit, I got us on the loop. My bad. What's going on, everybody? It's Item Most High. It's the joint with the Ayatollah. With my tag team partner, CT, aka Chitty Bang. We got special guests here. We got twin Ray on the show. What's going on with you, dog? What's happening with you?
Welcome to the
Trying
show,
to
fam.
Welcome to the
appreciate
show.
appreciate the invite. Appreciate the invite. Trying to enjoy this sunny day, a rare sunny day in Buffalo.
Nigga, your ass do not need to be out and about in a sunny day in Buffalo. You know niggas be athletes. Yeah.
I'm about to go to the Boulevard Mall, grab that famous bourbon chicken, take my ass home.
Come on, my man about to go to get the 2 meat 2 side. Niggas like,
Yeah,
man,
you know.
if you got a mall and you got a Chinese spot in your mall, you know the 2 meat 2 side.
The two beef, extra,
You know, I just got
extra,
done eating the Chinese.
Word
extra.
Two meat, two sides. Extra protein.
extra.
Nah, that ass. I need my
Yeah.
protein intake.
Yeah, we are here.
Yeah,
Glad to have you here.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Definitely glad to have you here, Ray, to talk
We're supposed to have
Naya
another
champ.
special guest in here, but his
Definitely,
late
you gotta
ass, you
check
know
out
what I'm
RP.
saying?
He'll be here shortly. Yeah, he'll be here shortly. But we're here to talk about Night Champions. If you guys haven't yet, check us out on Twitter, RW Podcast One, Even Wrestling Podcast on Instagram, and follow us on eiwshop.com where we sell our Everything is Wrestling merchandise. But we're here to talk about Night of Champions. We just got done watching the show. Honestly, thought it was a really good show. Saudi's really paying that bag to get these shows, and every year they seem to be pulling out some good shows. So, first and foremost, we started off the night with Seth freaking Rollins versus AJ for the new World Heavyweight Championship. I got to ask y'all guys, first and foremost, should AJ and Seth main evented and been the last match because it's the new championship, or do you think they should have started the show the way they did?
All right,
Question.
I'm gonna let Twin go first. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna mute Chidi. I'm gonna let you go first, Twin.
Honestly, I like that it would kicked it off with that. I mean, it could have been either that one or for me, Brock and Cody, but you definitely can't go wrong with Seth and AJ kicking it off. Like they definitely they're both entertainers in the sense, like, so they definitely gave that a good kickoff in my opinion. Like it was good action from beginning to end, like fair match from down the middle. It was from my opinion, I wasn't surprised about the income. I knew Seth was gonna win that. He definitely deserved it. AJ Styles definitely put him a good fight. Like every time Rollins tried to get a good run going, AJ definitely stopped him every time. So it was definitely he gave him a run for his money. But again, like I said, I knew Seth was gonna win that, overcome that. So like I said, it was a good intro. It was definitely a Meek Mill type intro.
All right, yeah, I feel.
All right, so
Chris, what you got?
With that being said, Twin, I had no issue with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that was a topic of conversation. You know what I'm saying, on the interwebs, Reddit, Twitter, Facebook. You know what I'm saying, wherever you get your comments at. But this is like when Rollins and Brock opened up at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship, right? And we take it all the way back to the beginning of the Universal Championship. After it got its initial run when Finn won it and then KO won it. After KO won it, it did not have any steam. And when Brock took it off of TV and it wasn't seen and everything like that, that title Seth was again tasked to get it off of Brock and dawn a new age. That opened the show. It was a good opener. It was a good feel good. It was a good story. He swung the title. I kind of feel like they went with that same type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to necessarily say like good or bad. Point blank period, they thought what was going to get the crowd involved the earliest. And you don't always want to give it to the women, right? You don't always want to open a show with Bianca. You don't want to open a show with Becky and Trish. You want to open it up with a pop. You know what I'm saying? And I think the pyro and everything like that after a 20, 30-minute match, the crowd's good. And now you can go into your show. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I thought about.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you on that. I'll be honest with you. Going into this event, they build it as a triple main event. I'm old school. I think the main event is always the last match. I don't care what you say it is. I think you can build it as a triple main event. But when you say it's a triple main event, what you're basically saying is that, hey, pay attention to these matches. These are the ones we're given time. These are the ones that we are very then going forward. And we're gonna say these guys matter, So cool. But in that case, you're debuting a new championship. You did a whole tournament. You're building to the championship for a month. So in my mind, going into the show is like, yo, you gotta finish with the World Heavyweight Championship, right? Or else it is looked at as a consolation. Going into the show, I thought that. But after seeing the press conference yesterday, where the guys in Saudi Arabia are going crazy for Sammy, he hasn't been there in 5 years since they've been in Saudi Arabia because he's been not going as a protest, and then decided to go this year. And the love that he received, and then combined with the bloodline storyline going on, and the finish and the shocking end to the night, I cannot argue that should have been not been the first match. Seth Rollins and AJ Styles was the right decision, from that standpoint. And like you said, getting the crowd going, two athletic guys who we know can put a high-paced match. Only thing I had a problem with the match was I do think that AJ could have worked the leg earlier in the match and built up to that calf crusher, because he just kind of was Seth dove, he held the knee, and immediately put him in the calf crusher. I would have liked to see that built up and worked on as the match went on, kind of like the Bret Hart style back in the day. But all that saying, it was a great match still. Go ahead.
I just wanted to comment to two things, right? It's hard for us to have the argument last month about KO and Sammy main eventing WrestleMania and then not continuing that storyline of them main eventing, including Roman Reigns, right? I think that right there is a bona fide stamp that's ending the show type thing, right? If we're all the aspects, including, I know you're talking about contextually, conceptually, prioritizing that title, but I definitely do believe that you have the structure of what that show was, and Roman introducing himself, because you're like, yo, he got to perform. You said Night of Champions, he got to defend the title. He didn't defend the title, but the titles that he was involved in, that was main event. And I don't think that even if Roman had another championship match, you can't follow it up after that, right? I think that was a great cinematic ending of the show. Mm-hmm. We talk about production wise, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think
they knew what they were doing. And it's yeah, it's production wise, they knew what they were doing. And I think with this Bloodline storyline, like I said, if I said to you a couple weeks ago, if Roman wins the tag titles, we're in a different era in a sense, and in my but in a sense, we kind of still are in a different era, because I've never seen an era where the tag titles was given such importance as it is right now. So the Usos, everything from SmackDown with Jimmy, just showing that pride he has for the championship, and then culminating in what happened tonight. I get on with it, and I was just searching from I'm like, how do you get this World Heavyweight Championship over immediately? And how do you not end the night with Seth Rollins holding the title? And you go home like that. But hey, they had their plan. They had their arc they wanted to tell. And if you had the the tag match earlier in the night, it might have not been as I guess emotional for the rest of the night. You can't follow that kind of. I don't think anybody wants to follow that after the build that they've been doing with the Bloodline. So I feel you on that.
Well, and I'll let Ray get into it as well with the conversation if he has something to add to it. I would like to just put on just when we talking about the championship. If you got that feeling, if the fans got that feeling, if AJ got that feeling, if everybody got this feeling like it's secondary, why would we even force the issue to make it priority? Right? That now we're just force feeding, right? Something as fans and as consumers, like, bro, we're gonna fuck with this shit anyway, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even gotta. So I'm as putting on two different hats. I'll take off one, I'll throw on another, right? I'm looking at it to the point where, like, hey, we are in a situation where the championship is not going to matter until, and it ain't until we make it the main event of this show. So I do feel like, that again kind of plays in the context of like, y'all don't necessarily believe that it's main event worthy. We know that it's not main event worthy. They know it's not. The performers know it's not main event worthy. So it's no point of us having a production around something that's ultimately going to fail. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's tough because, again, that Universal Championship is the same this World Heavyweight Championship is the same title that the Universal Championship was. And now over time, all they're doing is consolidating a prize and creating a new prize. When that Universal Championship came, we was like, what the fuck is this title? This red ass title, you know what I'm saying? Like Seth and Finn, we just cared about the match. We didn't care about the title at that point in time. I think it's that same vibe on a larger scale because, again, you're doing it in a 6-year span. We didn't forget about it. You made the red one blue and separated it, then combined it, won't separate it, added another one. Like, and they're like, yeah, we hear you, but
yeah, what's funny about these titles?
Selling for $500.
What's funny about these titles?
Not you know what I'm saying? That's also business and logic tied into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we can sell another motherfucker.
Exactly. Exactly. But what's funny about these titles is that, like, we have 2 tag titles, one tag team holding 2 belts up for Raw and SmackDown. We have a Universal Champion and WWE Champion Roman's holding by himself. We have the Raw Women's Champion competing on SmackDown, losing it to a SmackDown competitor who now is Raw Women's Champion. Who is that? And then the SmackDown Women's Champion competing on Raw with the SmackDown Women's Championship. I just want them to just figure it all out and just kind of, get it all aligned so it all makes sense. Because this is why I can say the draft kind of was ass, because it really don't mean shit right now. It don't, to me. I mean, as you can see, but we'll
what you got
maybe
to
things get more solidified as time goes on. But
I was going to ask Ray what he got on the title situation right now, because we're going to speedball right into Bianca dropping the title, which is heavy, big news right now. What you got on the titles right now, Twin?
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Okay, so you want me to talk about the Bianca title or just the titles in general?
Let's do both. Now, if you got comments on both, let them roll in the one, and we'll hear you.
Honestly, I was shocked that Bianca did lose it. I thought if she was gonna lose it, I thought it would have been on a bigger stage like SummerSlam. Like I mentioned in chat before, I didn't know by who, but I don't think because she's definitely grown into like one of the staples in the women's division. Like she's definitely that girl. Like she's definitely in that Charlotte conversation. So I thought by losing the title, like this is definitely sudden. But I definitely like what they're doing with her and Asuka. Like with this loss, like it's automatic. They gotta run that shit back. Like they gotta do a trilogy at some point where it's gonna be at Money in the Bank or or maybe even SummerSlam. So I kind of like I'm surprised, but I'm definitely here for it. Asuka definitely deserves it. She hasn't been the champion in a while. I know she was out for a while, but then like when she came back, it was like she's there, but she's not. Like she was part of that little trio for a minute, but she was never like in the main picture. So I'm definitely glad, that she's really in. Because like they said before, Cody or Grace said like, yeah, like she got a different attitude about her. So like now, her winning the title, like, all right, cool. Like she's here for a good time and a long time possibly. So I like that. And with the titles in general, I'm kind of like in the same boat with Chris. Like, yeah, like they got these unified titles, but then you want to have them only be on one brand. Like even with Roman, he's been on SmackDown for the last 2-3 years. Like the SmackDown titles, like they just started with the Usos. They just started recently defending their titles on both brands. Like before, they were only solely on SmackDown. Like, and then like you said with the women's titles, that's butt ass backwards. Where Bianca's on SmackDown while having a Raw title. I remember before when they did this last year. I think when Bianca or somebody had. It was Becky had the titles. Like they switched. Like they literally switched like that night. Yeah, like all right, we're gonna switch titles, we go on our separate brands. Like they didn't even do that this time. It was like, all right, we're gonna put you in this brand, but you got this title. Like, so this draft was because you promo? Like, I don't know. So honestly, I really feel like they need to get that situated because like I said, like it's at this point you might as well have some NXT people jump to. Like Carmelo might as well just come on after he defends his title on Raw. Like it's just not making sense. Like if you want to just you want to unify certain belts, like should I have Gunther go for the United States title? Like have him go for all the Intercontinental and all the gold. Like make it make sense. So I'm kind of in agreement with Chris with that.
Yeah. Nah, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. The draft really is kind of pointless. But back on Bianca tip, like, she has the longest modern day women's championship run. So I think she's done what she needed to do. Honestly, her and Asuka needs, and we need to turn it up a level. We need this to be like a no disqualification match or something, because I need to see these two ladies compete on like I want them to raise the intensity of the match. I think we've seen what they can do at WrestleMania. This match was a little bit better than what they did at WrestleMania.
Oh,
I think there's another gear.
Agreed.
There's another gear.
It got to be like a stipulation or something like that.
And Bianca that they can get to.
I agree.
And they're one-on-one right now. As you said, we need the rubber match.
Especially with Money in the Bank coming up, I say do a ladder match. Something like that. Add a stipulation, like make this drink, like, all right, this is the third one, we about to make this go out with a bang. Like something like that. I don't think like a Hell in a Cell be in, but a ladder match, I don't know. Some about ladder matches, it pops. Like, all right, cool. Trilogy, ladder match, winner takes all.
You know what I would like though? Honestly, I would like Bianca to get her lick back by having her last man standing match, her last woman standing match. She was supposed to have that with Bayley, and Bayley got hurt, and she didn't necessarily have it. She had the ladder match already. She's had the Hell in the Cell match. You know what I'm saying? Like she's won the Rumble. She's main event of WrestleMania. Having Asuka defeat her like that, like not really defeat, I would want that to be a last woman standing match. And Asuka has history in the last woman standing matches. She won one against Becky and Charlotte. So she has a little bit of like history behind that. So and I hear you, Twin, with the ladder match.
And Nikki Cross at NXT.
Huh?
And Asuka, Nikki Cross at NXT. Don't forget about that one.
Yeah, that was fun. That was my introduction to be like, yo, this is different. You know what I'm saying? Like this is different. You know what I mean? So yeah, exactly, I think last woman standing match, Bianca and Asuka, that would be a fire ass show.
I agree. No, that would too. Like I ain't want to just close it up like, oh, just do the ladder match. But no, last man standing, like, oh, last man standing, like, yeah. Like, regardless, they gotta go out with a bang for the trilogy. Like, you can't just do a regular one-on-one, all right, for the title. Like, if we gonna do it, because you already know they're gonna continue to build that rivalry. Like, all right, now I got my revenge, got the title. Like, you ain't no way in hell we ain't about to come on Raw on Monday and Bianca ain't gonna come back for revenge. Like, nah, her natural side gonna come out of her. She gonna come
but
for
what's your take on the crowd reaction for Bianca? Because, and this is another reason why I was shocked to see her lose the championship. But as you are champion for so long, there is a portion of the crowd that can get stale with you. And I'm not saying that's us, because I'm down for Bianca to hold it to WrestleMania like that. But if there is a portion of the crowd, whether it be in Puerto Rico or they're cheering for us.
Well, I have a question. Will you think
I've heard other people, online say, you know what, it's getting stale.
Well, I have a question. Do you think it has something to do with maybe us? I have a question. Like, would it be maybe because Asuka's a more international talent than Bianca?
I'm not sure what the reasons are, but I do know as a fan.
I would say, and I'm sorry, Chidi. I would say that might have some influx to it because, again, the babyface carries, but Bianca is American white meat babyface, dark meat in our case. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's American bred, American dark meat babyface. Yeah. Asuka being the one who got her chops in Mexico, Japan, she's probably been in Puerto Rico. Maybe that's why Backlash, like, oh shit, kind of back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might have something to do with that. And if we go to London, we might see a whole other thing too. You got in Puerto Rico is not an international crowd, but again, those are non-domestic American people, right? So that
I get you.
You know what
it
I'm
was
saying?
Definitely different.
So I don't want to, I don't want to be offensive with that definition, but
no, absolutely.
With that being said,
but you got to remember, it wasn't just Asuka. They got the reaction for it. It's also Io. They were cheering for it. It's Io, and maybe that's
true.
That's what I was saying. Like, this, they both got that.
Now I don't know. Maybe if it were.
No, I was gonna say, like, that's why, like, with Io Sky and Asuka, they've been on the international on the stage before, even before coming to WWE. So maybe that might have played a little bit to do with it. Maybe get more of a crowd reaction before. Like, I mean, but end of the day, I mean, we're just at this age
when it's
where
not universal.
Well, that's true. It's not universal because Bianca at the same stage still has, again, like you say, us here. And I'm not even sure too how this goes back to, not to get political at all, right? But sometimes the minority is the majority of the noise, right? And that's not how everybody thinks, but once it's loudly presented, it's like, is that how everybody thinks? And that perception kind of gets drowned out, you know what I'm saying? So the minority that wants to cheer for Asuka or Io could be drowning out, you know what I'm saying? Because they're just vigorous and loud, and like, I don't think it's universal. I don't think that's a totality. You know what I mean?
All in all, Bianca, I don't think it's at all. I think that is it's like I always compare it to the Cena thing. It's like, I think there's a controversial mix of like super big fans and people who are like, we've been kind of seeing this for a while. At the end of the day, it's no shade to Bianca. Because Bianca's an incredible performer. She's gonna be all right with or without the title. That's one thing we do know. With or without the title, she's a superstar, and she's had the longest reign in modern day history. So now I think it's her part to like evolve as a character and continue to bring people to see, all right, why am I watching her every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? And just continue to your role is to make somebody shine, but you got to also hold your own and have your own shine maintained. I'm just glad it wasn't like Charlotte Flair to come back and beat her. I was like, all right, Oscar's the one to beat her. I can't be mad at that. Oscar's one of our favorites. So I thought that like it was gonna be Charlotte Flair and Bianca at SummerSlam, and then probably Landis, Oscar, and we'll see where things go from here because Charles out shooting the movie. When she gets back, we'll see where the landscape is on SmackDown. But this definitely mixes it up on SmackDown, the women's division, because we were just talking about it a couple weeks ago. Yo, it was like, yo, who's gonna face Bianca after like there was nobody really that we wanted to see. But this definitely extends it, and we can see what happens between now and when they face again. You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
Oh, with that being said, Tucci, I just wanted to tap in and be like, this, like you say, shakeup champion on SmackDown does what though? You know what I'm saying? Like it does what now? To me, what it does for me, and to tie the Bianca situation in, Bianca had a lack of feuds that mattered to me during this reign. Now, 400 days, all feuds aren't going to matter. When we look at Roman's 1,000 days, all feuds are not created equal. I do want to say that. Bailey was majority and Damage Control was majority of the memorable stuff. You know what I'm saying? Asuka came along the way later to present herself.
I don't know either, brother. I don't know, man. We don't know either.
I think
I think she's gonna be fine. If we get a heel turn out, DeAndre, if we get a heel turn after this, would you support that? Chris, would you support that? A heel turn for
I
Bianca?
don't, but this is what I don't think is a heel. This is a baby fate that just gotta. This is the Cody effect right now. We call it the John Cena effect, but I think this is the Cody effect, right? It's hard for us to cheer for Superman. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for my man, my man said, I'll support a heel turn. I know you would, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I ain't opposed to her clapping her hands.
But I think we got time for that.
Like that, of course. But
what you ask what this does? What this does is it extends Bianca and Asuka and gives them time to come up with more challengers on SmackDown.
It gives them time
to after the
babyface too, because there is not another babyface.
Yeah, they're not a babyface or heel to the plate right now. That's like of note. Obviously, we've got the Money in the Bank right around the corner, so we'll see what happens with that, which can make a new star. But at the same time, we might reject that person. You never know. But at the end of the day, I don't want to see Bianca turn heel right away. I think we got some more time with her thing right now at the end of the year. Let's draw this out. Let's not just hot shot that. But Bianca, shout out to Bianca, great reign, and shout out to Asuka, new Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown.
And like Twin said Asuka deserves it, right? Asuka for some time,
yeah,
right. We kind of, even though the niggas is really fans of Asuka. So shout out to those fans of Asuka, you know what I'm saying, who've been waiting a long time. Shout out that nigga Phil. That nigga Phil, like shit, Seth and Asuka won. I mean, that nigga probably motherfucking where their jerkins at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Good night. Good night.
Exactly.
Oh man. But okay, from one women's match to another. We don't have to talk about it as long as the match was. Okay, Rhea completely demolished my nigga Natalya on her birthday. But shout out to Natalya and her sister. They pages yapping, nigga. That is worth the $7.
Shout out to Natalya, but yeah, Rhea. We all knew that was gonna happen. That woman's match.
Listen,
honestly, I thought it was a pleasant surprise. Oh yeah, Ray, you got something to say?
I'm about to say, as long as Natalya's still posting up fire IG pics, we good. She put a good fight.
Of course.
Word up, man. But yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised with Becky and Trish, though. Honestly, yo,
They
like
went
that
15
match,
minutes, my
Trish
nigga.
still got it, bro.
They went 15 minutes.
How long?
Brother. 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Yo,
They
it was back and forth. The shit, yo, and Trish still fucking got it. Trish like is just as good as she always was before, and I'm like, yo, and to see that she won the match, I'm like, oh, we're still gonna see more of her. She's doing a whole run. She's there every week, and she's how old? Yo, Trish is level, man, and
Yeah,
there's a reason
Trish.
why even artificial intelligence is calling her the greatest of all time.
Yo, listen, Trish, to be honest, is she not?
Yes,
Is she not? Is she not the greatest
she.
of all time?
Yes, I think she's the
And it's not even
time,
hype.
man. Like
It's
Trish,
not
man.
even
First of all, to be coming back, be relevant at the age that she is, and she kind of started like it for the divas and like really like being us paying attention as wrestlers. Like, her and Lita, like, all right, we want to see them wrestle. Like that is when we really started. Before that, it was just bikini matches.
And don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
greatest woman of
Listen,
all. Shout out to DeAndre. You called it.
and
That's exactly.
also, don't get me wrong too, right? Trish had to endure some real negative, trepidatious.
Misogyny.
I mean, I think just downright humiliating, right? Right? I mean, because Jim Ross had to kiss a nigga ass. She had to bark like a dog. Like that point in time of wrestling was crazy. And
That shit was wild, yo.
bro,
She was wild back then, yo.
and then she managed the team TNA, you know what I'm saying? Tits and ass. You know what I'm saying? Like she just could not get out of that thing, right? And when she did,
she's the one that got testing Albert over. I'll be honest with you.
when she made that step, right? When she made that leap to be considered serious, right? Because men as men, right? I'm gonna speak for me. As a man, seeing a woman hit that switch is what is igniting the legacy, right? Because if she don't hit that switch, we just recognize her as Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, you know, of that elk. And don't get me wrong, they did their thing. They were great performers at their time. But when Trish got serious, it was like, nah, we about to put some work in. And she put that work in, and you alluded to her and Lita, not just that, her and Mickey James, then her and Ivory, her and Victoria. Like she really went and put on
Molly Holly.
Molly went on put on banger after banger after banger. And now, like you say, all this
Ivory,
time
her and Ivory when she was doing right to censor.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like got Ivory over, nigga. Ivory got both sides, none Ivy over. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
Yeah, man.
But Trish is
Ivory was trying to get over for a decade before.
Off the strength of I can wrestle. Hold on.
Wow, she's the world of wrestling.
Off the strength of I can wrestle, and niggas couldn't until Trish learned to wrestle. That's when niggas was like, yeah, we're gonna pay attention to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so
and you had like the two sides of the coin. She's all buttoned up on the right center, trying to censor shit. Trish titties out, we all in, locked in, but the wrestling match was just as good as how she looked. So I think that Trish is the greatest of all time. And to see her, I'm not even sure how old she is right now, but to come back after decades, being away, doing the fitness industry stuff, having her kids, and then putting in a run, like she's been here since, like she was backstage before WrestleMania, like weeks before WrestleMania. She was like since like February, and they didn't debut her until around like a couple weeks before WrestleMania. She's been here since February, like go on the road with these guys. And I'm like, yo, that's what's up, man. To see her week to week is a pleasure, honestly. And Becky and her, I think it's gonna be great to see them work up again. Zoe Stark is not with her. It fits, man.
I wanna comment one time with what you was talking about real quick. And that's just to be when Trish didn't have a good first return to me, right? And I don't want to disparaging, but it's almost like when Mick Foley had that match and with The Rock and Batista and Ric Flair, like, man, that ain't it. I got something else in me. I got something better in me. Let me get another shot, and then him and Edge, banger, right? I'm looking back at Charlotte
I'm
and
glad you
Trish
brought that up, man.
at SummerSlam, and Charlotte and Trish at SummerSlam
Exactly.
really didn't click that well for me. And I thought
It wasn't as smooth as this match at all.
right.
She was way better and sharper
Yes,
with Becky Lynch tonight than she
yes,
was that match.
yes. And that's
It
what I
was just
wanted.
like, okay, this was a spectacle. All right, thanks Trish for coming back. And right, but now I'm like, yo, thank you Trish. Like real talk, thank you Trish for being here because she's putting in the work. She's actually taking it. Like she's like, no, that wasn't a reflection of just me what I can do. Came back and she's performing at a very high level. Today was for her.
But that was my biggest takeaway for me, including like Trish was, including the match was good, including the fact that you know what I'm saying that they went extensive. Like looking at the match card, if we're looking at time, they went Trish and Becky and Bianca Asuka same amount of time, equal time, 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Which was really good.
Yeah.
Seth and AJ went 20, and then the main event went 27. You know what I'm saying? And with all that,
wow. So wait, so they were the third?
Tied for third. Yep. Tied for third. Tied for third.
Tied for third. Okay.
With 15 minutes apiece. Yep. So that
Damn.
was able to tell a really good story, and to have the endurance and to have the capacity to keep a crowd involved and engaged, and to look that good. You talk about buttoned up. You know, you go to Saudi, you write the sentence your damn self. But shit, Trish made that shit look good. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Trish.
Look, that boy as fuck.
Yo, honestly, like, you understand where she get that ass from, man. It's all that fucking squats, yo. She been doing the fitness industry shit for the past decade, man. She's doing. She look good. She look good. Honestly, shout out to Trish. She looks amazing. It's no surprise. But her and Becky put on a hell of a performance. I'm curious to see where they go from here. Zoe Stark's now on her as our accomplice. She's like,
I like her a lot.
It's a great pairing, honestly.
I like Zoe too.
I like her a
lot. The last three matches of the night, we can kind of Mustafa and Gunther was what it was. Great, great outing by Mustafa in front of his people. But we know Gunther's one of the greatest IC champions.
Just want to say, Gunther, there you go.
Yeah.
Gunther's making that championship mean something, bro. I'm telling you this right now.
Boy.
Gunther, whoever beats him has a big shoes to follow. It's almost like Roman in the undisputed, Universal Championship, WWE Championship. Whoever beats both of these guys has big shoes to follow in that championship by holding that belt. It's huge. Gunther's that dude.
Gunther is absolutely that dude. 50
that man is a machine.
And this goes back to like you talk about those who get into who are comfortable and people who want to excel and exceed. Gunther got that main roster money and was like, shit, what you want me to do? Let me trim up, cool. Let me get a nutritionist. Let me get a trainer. And you saw the maturation. If you pay him and Damian Priest too, right? The maturation of them once they get to it's almost like in comparison to once a high school football player went from college and he's like, damn, Alabama, LSU, Texas, and then he gets to the NFL and he's like, damn, this is what billions of dollars go into. And you see the maturation of body difference from high school, college to NFL. Mm-hmm. You see that with indie wrestlers, NXT wrestlers, and main roster wrestlers. Like, it's ridiculous how great.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yo, Gunther remind me of.
You know what I feel like? I feel like money is gonna show you who you really are.
True. Gunther remind me of Jokic, man. He kind of like how he just transformed, like his mind and body, like. And now you're seeing like his because he even showed at NXT when he had that title reign for how long? Like he had it in the chokehold for a minute in NXT
The
You're a
UK,
boy like that.
the UK joint. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that in the chokehold. So it's never his first time
He did.
even doing these long title reigns. So it's just like for some people they probably not even surprised, but like just showing
Yeah,
like
yo,
since
that's a good comparison, Jokic.
because ever since he came to the main roster, yo, it's just like he's been dominant, taking over like from the Royal Rumble match to like the epic matches he had with
Exactly.
Drew. Like he's already putting the resume up. Like man, like that IC title. I remember we talked this before.
Immediately.
Like
He put
before
a resume
him,
up, like immediately.
we wasn't even talking about the IC title. Like no one relevant had that during in a minute. Even when they did, it was like all right, short reign. Like we were talking about the United States title more than the IC title. So
Exactly.
like just what he's done, and of course another international, superstar that's putting on the map. Like it's good for the all around. Like it's even better for him because like you said, even though he's done it before, like he really had to like once he got to the big leagues, he had to transform his mind and body, and you can tell like yo, he's lean. Like they say he 250, I'd have guessed like 275 or something like that. But I guess because of his height, but that man is lean.
He is. He is lean, man. Like I was saying, like you get the money and it shows you who you really are, and you can see that the people who come to the main roster get the bag and take the foot off the gas a little bit, or a lot of times we blame, oh, you're not pushing this person, or they're not, making this guy, they're not making him pop. But if you put the work to make yourself undeniable, meaning that you come in early, you leave late, you have the physique of somebody who looks like a champion, then they have no reason not to put you in a spot. And then if you go out there and have banger after banger like Gunther's been having, no way. There is absolutely no way they don't put you in a spot to succeed and that you control your destiny. Gunther, bringing him up with Imperium definitely helps, but he has been performing at a high level in that ring.
You gotta respect him at the end of the day.
Yes, you know who else has been performing at a high level in that ring?
Yeah.
Brock fucking Lesnar.
Absolutely.
That nigga Brock Lesnar has. Get out of here, girl. That nigga.
What's up? Shout out to Ivy.
That nigga Brock Lesnar. It was so much fun calling his shots and essentially like having good business. Like this is good. He's doing really good business with Cody. And if you go back months ago to the Pat McAfee show, when Pat asked him, "Why are you still doing this? Why are you not on your farm?" and Brock was like, "Who can I hand this over to?" You know what I'm saying? It's almost adjacent to when Cena asked Roman, "Dog, they want me out here, but they bringing me back here. Why?" Brock is the same reason, like, yo, nigga, like, shit, I'm just Jackula, whatever the fuck y'all mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are they bringing me back here? Because they need somebody. So let me test this nigga real quick. And this goes back to why I say Bianca and Cody's kind of on the same trajectory for me, because these babies right now, they have everything. Spoiled little brats, right? They have everything given to them. They're like, babies, they're super over. They got the athleticism. They have the charisma. They have the crowd. They have the titles. They have the title opportunities. They're favored by the office. The merch is getting over. Like, how many times we can cheer for that? What is the adversity? Where is the adversity? And a lot of people got mad as to like why Cody needed adversity. This is why. Because as champion, Brock would have tapped that bitch ass nigga out and took the title. First the defense, and now we stuck in the pigeonhole again. So that's why Cody didn't need the title. He needed to go through this run first. He needed to overcome Brock without no title construction next to him. And
Come on,
now
man.
he can fucking
Listen, I gotta talk about this because like let's be real here. If Cody had the championship, he did not have to go through all this. If Cody had a championship, him and Brock would be the main event of this event, bar none. Him and Brock would have been the most must-see thing if they had a championship on the line right now, and it would make so much sense. Also, you can still have Roman in the tag division after taking the hiatus, completely ignoring that he failed at WrestleMania. He could have came and just blamed the Usos for losing. and then say, listen, I'm gonna bring the tag titles back, and don't worry, I'm gonna get to Cody when I get a chance. But this could have still been the build, and there would be we would have none the wiser. We would be saying how great it was. So I don't think necessarily that Cody had to lose, but at the end of the day, he lost. It is what it is. Will this build to a moment where it's more perfect for him to win the championship? I don't know. Arguably, that moment was WrestleMania, and I stand by it. Until I see what Cody win it, I don't know if if there's going to be a bigger moment than what they had as an opportunity. But if him and Brock had a championship on the line right here, it would have been epic.
Yes, it would have been epic, and he would have lost it. That's the thing, right? And you want to say what?
I mean, he won the first match. He might not have lost this one, and maybe he did. Maybe he would have. I don't know. We don't know, but because he didn't put a championship. You know why he can't lose right now is because he doesn't have a championship. So yeah, they haven't passed out. All good, So, but if he had a championship, they're not booking it the same way,
right? But I think, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying is because essentially, yes, you said it would. There's not another perfect way. I don't want to argue that, right? I don't want to argue, but we already know that WWE doesn't do storytelling perfect endings, right? We just said Natty had a minute match on her birthday. They flew this nigga all the way to Saudi Arabia in her birthday's actually yesterday. It's today, but it's yesterday because Saudi's a whole nother day above. So like they got this nigga on her birthday getting her ass whooped. So they don't really care about sentiments or perfect moments or shit like that. You know what I mean? But in that aspect,
best for business. I get it.
No, not best for business, but what's best for character development, right? Cody's character development, I don't think is hindered or hurt by him not winning at WrestleMania. Now, it does make him feel quote unquote less important because at this point in time, let's go back to we talk about ranking and business and logic, right? When you're looking at the structure of this company, Roman is the head, Seth is the heart. That nigga needed a consolation prize. That nigga needed to feel important. That nigga needed to feel valued. That nigga needed to feel placed up on a pedestal. And you trying to tell me Roman been a champion for 3 years. Cody been gone that same amount of time building our competition. I've been waving our flag. I even went to that nigga on Twitter. And you telling me he gonna win the title before me? Oh, fuck no. No. So WWE got to keep that house together, bro. I'm just being honest. WWE got to keep that house together.
You know what?
It matters.
I think right now we're primed, and I'm glad you brought Seth primed for another Brock Lesnar Seth feud. And if Cody gets healed up from his injury, maybe they can make it like a triple threat kind of thing. But I think that at this point, when it comes to Cody's run, I feel like still he has the most momentum as far as the baby face in the company, the top baby face in the company. As far as I'm concerned, I think Cody's the top baby face. And when that day comes, we'll see. But if it's for the World Heavyweight Championship, it's not going to feel the same. And if he has to be against Roman, and if it's not, then I think you had a missed opportunity. And that's
I want to ask you this though, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to ask you this. You say it has to be.
No, go ahead. I was done.
I'm okay. I'm sorry. You had it's a little glitch delay between us, so that's why. Seth and Cody can really tell a better story than Cody and Roman. And Roman and Seth has the same qualities that they can draw out of Cody, right? When we talk about the ethos and the story points and stuff like that, it's Seth that really got the stake, right? Now Dusty helped cultivate and groom and mold Roman and talk him up and tell him, right? He had to get to, but Tyler Black came in with that gift. And Dusty saw that nigga and was like, that kid got it, right? Emotionally, me, I'm not everybody. And I know you just said it has to be with Roman. Nigga, if Cody, fuck the triple threat. If Cody one-on-one with Seth for a title with those emotions, sign me up. I think that's still special.
Okay.
I think that's still special.
I
I think that can be still told.
I think that if you do it now, eh, I think don't get me wrong. I don't want to shit on that because I think that that's very well. It could be very well produced and told. I think that storyline with Cody and Seth is right there. If you want to get it, it's right there. If you want to tell that story, it's right there. Absolutely, at any point. I would do it a little bit further down the line, only because
Yes.
with the whole feeling of like, all right, this is a consolation prize, all that stuff. Cody loses at WrestleMania and then faces Seth and either loses or wins against Seth, like a couple months later. It's still like, damn, he couldn't win against Roman, but he won this, or he couldn't win, he can't win against. It doesn't do him any good, and I think he's the top babyface. I think you got to keep him hot. Put him on the shelf for now. He got the elbow going on, whatever. Maybe trying to tell a story with that, fine. But Brock right now is the top heel. Brock is the top heel in that division, and he has to go after Seth at this point. There's no.
And I'm sorry, but that's why I think the story. That's why I think the story hits better for me. Remember when Cody came back, right? The story of everything, right? Seth wants a WrestleMania match. He won it against Roman, didn't have it. Had it against Cody. Cody had the WrestleMania match against Roman. When Cody tore his pecans out, who the company come back to lean on? Seth. Bro, you got to carry us. You like the Dean Ambrose of the situation, right? I mean, I'm sorry, the John Moxley of the company. Hey, man, CM Punk's down, Jungle Boy's down, MJF's gone. Can you come back, please? Right?
Yeah.
Seth is that fallback guy. That story's there. So while Cody's about to be out on the injury list and Seth parading with this title, Cody's about to come out of nowhere talking about he wants this title match. Cody can lose that match still and build that fucking feud. And now he can chase Seth.
Which one? With Seth?
Roman, he can chase Seth, and it's the same chase. It's the same chase.
Man, it's still a little bit different, man. Finishing the story, how they built that to Roman, and then he didn't finish the story. It's just hanging in the wind right now. And if they don't ever go back to it, it's a missed opportunity. I hear what you're saying. It might be still a great angle with him and Seth. It might still have that competition, that feel of like a real, one-on-one, man-to-man kind of beef kind of turmoil thing.
Right.
If Seth beats him, then it's like, all right, he got that victory over him. And to me, I'm like, all right, they both can't be babyface and in a feud for 6 months. Like,
Seth never beat him.
We can't stretch this out to Survivor Series.
Seth never beat him. So Seth winning for the title.
Yeah.
You can easily turn this. I know this will be the battle of the songs.
But at some point, but who's the baby? Who's the heel?
Seth can work heel.
And you're just gonna force? Huh?
Seth can work heel. Seth can work heel for sure.
Who's working heel?
Seth.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to diminish your point of Brock going after a title, but to your point of Cody being on your top fives of the week, when he cuts that promo and say, "Yo, it's time for you to step back," that's legit. And this feud is to legitimize Brock stepping back. So my thing is, even if Brock puts Cody on the shelf, nigga, Finn, you better step your ass up. You know what I'm saying? LA Knight, you better step your ass, nigga. Somebody better step up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Brock because I think the main thing is, and once Cody gets back, you'll be able to see Seth eye twitch. You'll be able to see Seth get a little anxious and a little right, and you're gonna feel those tendencies get back. And I think heel Seth, that'd be magical. That'd be magical. That'd be dope. All
right. I think I'm down with that. If you want to tell it that way, we will see. Time will tell. But Cody passed out to the Kimura lock. it's only right if he actually takes his ass and sits back home because they built this whole thing about his arm being broken. If he comes back to Raw on Monday and he's trying to fight Brock, I'm like, come on, bro, this just makes no goddamn sense. But we'll move on from that.
Yes, a titanium cast.
Yeah, there's no way that Cody was gonna beat Brock with a one arm.
Oh, speaking of
Toro
Drew,
last year, but this ain't gonna happen.
Drew can be a nice first feud for Seth for that title.
That's that too.
You know what I'm saying?
He's the wild card right now.
Yes, he is.
We don't know where when he will come. But I'm not sure if we're doing another wild card on the injury list that I want to touch on, and that guy goes by the name of Randall Keith Orton. There's rumors and reports that he might be ending his career due to the doctor's orders of him not going back in the ring because of his back injury. I just want to touch on your thoughts on that, see what you guys are thinking, because I never expected Randy's career to end from an injury or have that be the case. I still expected to see Randy come back, have another feud with maybe Cody Rhodes or Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. As I don't think his last run should be the RK Bro stuff. Like, I really don't. And if it is, I mean, of course, thank Randy Orton for all he's done. That'll be pretty sad for me.
No, I don't think he's done. I just think you don't need to rush back, right? Like, Randy off TV for 2-3 years doesn't hurt, right? You got the money. The business is in great hands. Okay. The company's going to pay for your rehab. Like, I don't think this is the last of him. I just think that doctors are just saying, like, with your profession, you trying to get back, do 200 dates, 150 dates, like, just give your body time. And when you talk about, you never thought that Randy's career will, be demised by injury. I mean, we talk about the neck, we talk about the shoulders that he's been out previous time. Like, Randy is unfortunately in basketball comparisons, he's like T-Mac, right? Like, just a flawless generational talent, and no matter what, there is something that is going to derail a really great season, a really great year, a really great monumental run, right? And that you're still a Hall of Famer. T-Mac's still a Hall of Famer. We still remember everything he does. We still compare him to the greats. Like, he's not the Grant Hills the same way, right? We don't take nothing away from them. It's just that your longevity or lack thereof just hinders you, and we know how great he was when he was there. You know what I'm saying? So I think Randy is in that boat. Like, we know how great he was there. He was good. And if he comes back and he can, like Grant Hill, play for the Phoenix Suns and come off the bench and like still be a presence and niggas know your name, like, that is great. You know what I mean? Like, I will want him to come back and have a goodbye run on his terms, if that will be the case. You know what I'm saying? So.
No, exactly, and that's what I wanted to touch on. And like, I hasn't had an injury-prone history. Absolutely, know about his history, but when that report came out, I was a little sad for him. Like, there's no way Randy can end this way. I just never anticipated it. But you always got to make sure that our legends are being taken care of. He's a veteran who's honestly, he can still do it with the best of them. He's super. But we don't want him to be any more injured. We still got people like Biggie on the shelf with his neck fusion, Bobby Roode, Tommaso Ciampa, and this is what the cost of the business is. So we want our wrestlers who we love to just take the time they need to get healthy, and don't force it back, don't rush back.
So I guess we can main event the show with the main event of the show. What the fuck did we just watch?
We just watched the demise of the bloodline, bruh, right in front of your eyes in Saudi Arabia, bro. I could not believe it.
Something that has been said for so long.
Is tonight the night?
I'm so glad. We've been hearing that shit for so long. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad that the bloodline is done. I'm glad that was done.
I'm glad I was watching live when it happened because it literally like was a special moment, man. It was. But here's the thing about it. So let's get into it. We had a tag team match. Going into it, you guys think Saudi? Do you think that Sammy had a chance to lose? I didn't think so. I thought that there was a slight chance of Roman, but I didn't think it was gonna happen.
Slight chance. Slight. I'm gonna be honest. I thought it was a slight chance. Once the Usos came out, that was done. Right when I knew once the shenanigans, like, it is like Usos gonna cause them to lose, and I thought that
once the spear happened to the ref, yeah.
But I
Once
thought
Roman speared the ref,
I didn't think that we were going to get the moment there. But why wouldn't it happen there? Right? Like, logically, like if you scripted it, it's going to be the biggest monumental produced moment of the wrestling spear of the day. Nothing else is taking its place. Also, nothing tomorrow can lap it. Nothing. There's nothing that AEW can do. There's nothing NXT can do. You're playing for second place, bro.
yeah. Sabu tomorrow. What are you talking about? Gaslighting. I'm sorry. But no, I feel you. No, it's the moment we've been waiting for. Jay though, man, I'm not gonna front. I wanted Jay to take the first shot, bro. Yo, Jimmy being a guy, it was good. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you guys have watched it, obviously not a champions. KO and Sammy versus Roman and Solo. Great match, honestly, from beginning in. There's a spot where Roman spears the referee. Usos come out to help. And from that point forward, the shenanigans are coming. Solo eats a super kick by accident. Roman sees it. He gets in his cousin's faces, mushes Jay in the face, mushes Jimmy in the face, gets in Jay's face again. Before he turns around, Jimmy kicks him in the face, and that was it. He's screaming, he's shouting, and Jay is distraught. Jay doesn't know whether he should follow in the footsteps of his brother or stay true to the bloodline, and that's where the conflict comes in for Jay. Where does he lie? Is his blood with his twin brother, or his blood is with the whole Hawaii bloodline tribe and staying true to what we're supposed to do as a family? That's a great story to tell, but I wanted Jay to take the first shot, man, and we'll see if he ever takes a shot with Roman, but I need Jay to take a shot at Roman one day.
He took shots. They had matches. They had wars. They done it. Like, as far as like, to be quite honest, let's be real, right? Jay never really capitulated unless it was by force, right? Once he got manipulated and he capitulated, he's now under the umbrella. Now my thing is to rein everybody else in, but he never really. Jimmy off jump, bro, did whatever Jay wanted to do because that was his brother. But Jimmy off jump came back and was like, I ain't no bitch, nigga. I ain't the right hand man. Nigga, I was hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy never, ever, ever really was indebted the way that Jay was. Because Jimmy never really reaped the benefits of Roman's tutelage or tutelage or
Jay was the favorite.
Not even so much Jay was the favorite, right? Jay was just available, right? It's like wide receiver stuff, right? Listen, Sarah Owens ain't better than fucking Jerry Rice, but when Jerry Rice ain't there, who I gotta throw the ball to? T.O.
But whenever Jay wasn't around, he didn't say, all right, Jimmy.
Yeah, but I've already established.
Jimmy, where's your brother Jay? Make sure Jay gets back.
I already established rhythm, already established relationship, already established timing. Jeff Garcia, right? This ain't Joe Montana. right? Roman, I don't mean to call Roman Jeff Garcia, but I'm just using that analogy for the quarterback situation. Jeff Garcia is coming in, and he never had Roman and Jay as his receivers ever. He know what he need. He know what he want. He know them two niggas got what it takes in training camp because he comes in as champion. In training camp, Jimmy gets hurt. So he established a relationship with Jay. They work all through training camp, all through spring. They got nighttime workout, working in the dark. They go through the playbook. So when Jimmy comes around, Jimmy just knows how to play next to Jay, right? Jerry Rice comes in like, yeah, nigga, I know how to play X. That's what I'm doing. X, cool. I'm X receiver. By this time, Terrell Owens don't work X, Y, Z. He's in the slides in the backfield. That's why Jay's so valuable to Roman. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, Jimmy don't have that relationship with Roman. He never really got the ball. He never really got the numbers. He never really got the touchdowns. He was just a part of the winning team, right? Nigga, I'm kicking your motherfucking head off, nigga.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
I
I know what you meant about Jay, but Jay just always knew his bread was buttered that way. You know what I'm saying? Like I buy.
I think
he's
been.
You know what I'm saying? I'm good.
He's been tormented for the past 3 years. It seems like was it 3 years? Almost going on 3 years, I think. And now I think the conflict between Jay is just as potent as it was back then when it started. All right, is he on Roman's side or not? Is he gonna acknowledge
which is
with truth or not?
fantastic.
It's always been the thread of like Jay saying, "All right, am I in or out?" You know, and it is. I'm waiting for Jay to stand up to himself because we all saw what he did to Jay when he first came back, and those matches they had were epic. I remember I rewatched them, and he never really did quit.
No.
But he kind of just did capitulate and bow down to him. So at the end of the day, to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you. Right now, Roman don't need the fucking Usos. He don't need it. He got Solo.
No.
Solo is the enforcer. He don't need them.
Which is fantastic at this point right now because nigga super kick Solo. Solo been ready to go for a minute. Right?
Yeah.
Like when you talk about am I my brother's keeper or do I roll with Roman? Guess who don't got that conflict, my nigga? Like for real. Solo ain't got that conflict, right? So Solo already know where he going, and that super kick just solidified.
Mm-hmm.
So now the next stage.
On SmackDown, Solo didn't need to be told to get the tag titles to Roman. He immediately gave the tag titles to Roman so he can pose with him. It was a subtle thing that I see, like in the subtle differences that I see between Jay, Jimmy, and Solo when they're in the ring together. It's stark differences in how they have their relationship personally with Roman, and I love it. I think that everybody has a different relationship with every single person inside the bloodline, and it's dope to see that they can tell that through wrestling and like subtle ways, So shout out to them.
But it's a family dynamic too, not just right. You saw SmackDown, right? Roman was like, "Nigga, what we doing when we was kids,
oh yeah,
bro? Like I whooped your ass then, I'll whoop your ass now," and that plays into what we talking about right now. Because Jimmy like, nah, nigga, I'm a grown fucking man, nigga. I'm a grown man, nigga. You right. If you gonna whoop my ass now, it's cause I set it off on you, nigga. I sparked it. That's how you gonna whoop my ass.
Uh-huh.
You ain't just gonna whoop my ass.
Whoop my ass. No, he challenged him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Jimmy had to.
Jay versus Roman at Money in the Bank. What we gonna do?
Jimmy on Friday. Jimmy kicked his head off today. That's what gotta go. Gotta happen.
Go ahead and go bitch ass nigga on Friday. Kick him in the yeah. All right, bet. And shout out to the champions tag team KO and Sammy. Great performances on their part too. Saudi was rocking for Sammy. I'm happy for him. And from some of his people and family out there, and to not after 5 years of protests and staying away, when he came back in that press conference, man, they showed him so much love.
Yo, that nigga
It's almost
came
like,
out.
yo, yeah, we know you have a problem with the politics here, but we still love you.
I mean, the only reason why he's there is because you know that shit died down. Like he been true and a man and principled to his word. And like when we talk about alignment, right? When we talk about the beauty and the, the specifications of why we watch and the joy of um, seeing Sammy from the even my wife, right? I was like, he's having a great year. I'm like,
Yeah,
like yes, he's having like the best. Like, and I'm
yeah,
getting like like, and honestly, like you know, we know as creatives and we know as wrestling fans, like quote unquote the journey, but you just got to be a person, right? This is your
yeah, the person.
this is your passion that you chase for 20 plus years. And Royal Rumble starts the trajectory of you being the top, like we talk about the top guy of the top company, right? In January. That's Sammy. Then you go to Montreal, like at home. First home
Yeah,
in 18 years. You main event there. Get the special goosebumps moment there. Then you go to fucking main event tag team titles with your best friend of 20 plus years that grew up in wrestling with you and win it at WrestleMania, right? You do that. You go to Puerto Rico for the first time in 18 years. El Generico, where you grew like this, and then you top it off. He's a Muslim in Saudi Arabia, going to fucking the most holiest of fucking. I'm sorry, I can't even use cuss words. Going to the most holiest of temples, purity of his religion, of his faith, and then the alignment that he's there because his faith and his title run and his greatest year allows him to continue to tell a story because politics outside of his control allows him to fucking now comes to his belief and succumb. And bro, you don't understand. Like that is
uh-huh.
movie.
And what's so sweet? What's great? What's great about that though? It is. It's like honestly, Sam's living a freaking movie book, a storybook, a movie, whatever you want to call it. But like politics, I think separates the world so much when it doesn't need to be. When you see the love that these people were praising on Sammy, it's amazing, And he comes out in his traditional garb, Like I can only imagine what that means to him and the people of Saudi Arabia just to come out there and represent, and then have one of the best matches of the night, and in the same year for your Muslim heritage back in Saudi Arabia, and also perform in Montreal for your local, family. It's amazing. Like at that point, what does Sam got to do at this point? He's had a great year.
He can
I mean,
call it not even a year. If his career, well, we talk about Randy, right? Knock on wood, right?
yeah,
If Sammy has a career altering situation outside of winning the World Heavyweight Championship, I don't think there's anything else for him to accomplish.
I feel you, man.
You know
I,
what I'm
I
saying?
feel you.
Like,
I think he's an icon right now. I'm just happy for
and
the
by
guy. Yeah, he
and
deserves it. I mean, it
and
just goes to show if you have like just 20 years. I was gonna say just 20 years of you having faith in your craft and your passion and sticking to it, even the hard times, the down times when you thought that you didn't have it, what it takes, and all that stuff. And from the haluva kick being a joke, even the whole El Generico kind of gimmick was a joke. Saying "ole ole" is a Spanish terminology now brought to Saudi Arabia, and they're chanting, saying, "ole ole" from way back when you created it in the Indies, and it's everything is just so synchronistic for this guy. I'm just super to see his story like a full circle, and I can't wait to see where they go from here moving forward with the tag titles too, because there's so many like tag teams in the waiting. You talked about Finn and Damian Priest. You talked about Imperium last week. There's people that now it feels like the tag titles matter like so much more than it did before. So shout out to them,
yeah,
really
man.
bringing this full circle, and they beat Roman. So shout out to them.
Yes, sir. What a great show.
Yeah, man.
What a great show.
Great show. Great show. I would like to thank Ray for coming through. Uh, we lost him halfway through, but thank you for coming and joining us here. I wish Rich could be here, but we'll chop it up with him later.
We'll
I
see.
wonder what his takes are on a
We'll
couple of
see.
these matches.
We'll see if that
Um,
can come on tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I think it's old.
yeah, yeah.
Once grandpa sit his ass down, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Rich, man. Shout out to our day
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Shout out to them both. We'll see if we can. Shout out to Rich. Yeah, we'll see if we can get you on tomorrow. Hopefully, we got Battleground and Double or Nothing tomorrow, and we'll be coming out here live to talk our shit on both of those events and just anything else we have that was. Anything else you wanted to bring up about the show today?
Nah, man. We had a good day of wrestling, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely,
And,
man.
get you some rest. You know what I'm saying? And
All
we'll
right,
tap in the chat later, brother.
most def, man. You salute. Anybody else? Thank you for listening. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys on SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere you guys, wherever podcasts are podcasted. And all is love. Everything is wrestling. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.